It feels like it was just yesterday, but it's been a few years since we got the first trailer for the long-anticipated Pikmin 4. Now, we live in a world where the game has not only officially been released, but we've all played it, and I think it's worth taking a moment to look back at how much the Pikmin series has grown in the time since the initial announcement. We're getting so much regular Pikmin content now, even if it's just little bits of news or little collaborations, the brand just exists and is in the Nintendo zeitgeist. Right now, at this moment, we're in a transitional time between the Switch 1 and the Switch 2, and it's a bit of a lull between Nintendo releases, so I'd like to take this time to look back at how far Pikmin has come, and particularly to talk about 2023, which I think was the single most successful year the Pikmin franchise has ever had. My name is Vantage, and today we're going to be looking at the biggest year for Nintendo's littlest franchise. If you're new here, I make regular Pikmin content, so subscribe if you want to see more of this stuff, and leave a like if you enjoy the video. That being said, without further ado, let's get right into it. Pikmin 4 released in 2023 after literally 10 years of waiting. While this may seem completely insignificant for fans who are just experiencing the franchise for the first time now, so much has happened between games. Many of us, myself included, reached adulthood in this time. For a couple of weird political benchmarks to put things in perspective, the United States saw 3 different presidents in office between Pikmin 3 and 4, and that gap of time was about 2.5 times longer than the United States Civil War. That is to say, the wait was genuinely really long for a game about tiny plant people, but it was all worth it in the end. While the series is still no Mario or Zelda in terms of sales numbers, Pikmin is selling better than it ever has as a series. Pikmin 4's success has led it to quickly eclipsing the sales of all prior Pikmin games, and with all of the mainline games in the series now available on one platform, the Nintendo Switch, players have an opportunity to start anywhere in the series and to play through every single entry that they missed. For a number of reasons, Pikmin has always done relatively poorly in the past, but its growth on Nintendo Switch has been actually spectacular. Looking at the Mario and Zelda comparison, well, it's hardly even fair. There have been well over a dozen mainline Mario releases since Pikmin came out, compared to Pikmin's 4 mainline games, and Zelda isn't very far behind Mario, and this isn't even accounting for Mario's exceptional number of spin-offs. A closer comparison to Pikmin's situation might be seen with Splatoon as a new IP, but that's not fair either. Splatoon's a shooter, the most popular genre in the game industry, and more importantly, it's been able to build momentum with multiple recent entries released in very close succession. In the time between Pikmin games, specifically the wait between Pikmin 3 and Pikmin 4, Splatoon got 3 entries released and multiple expansions. Comparatively, the most similar series Pikmin has to gauge its performance is probably Luigi's Mansion, but that still is a spin-off from Nintendo's most popular IP. My point is, you can't really use the other Nintendo games as a benchmark for Pikmin. It's unique and has a unique circumstance, just like the rest of the series. That being said, Pikmin has been growing lately, and Nintendo, of their own admission, is very happy with this information. During a Nintendo shareholder report that came out not very long after Pikmin 4, Nintendo used Pikmin in particular in its own section to talk about successfully expanding the number of people who have access to Nintendo IP. It's really neat. The section briefly talks about the history of the series, taking some time to celebrate things such as the landmark release of the Pikmin short movies, which have amassed, at the time of this presentation, 440 million views around the world, and of course things like the recently released Pikmin Bloom, and the Easter eggs in Super Nintendo World. These are things that the Pikmin fanbase takes for granted now, but these were each active initiatives by Nintendo to boost up the brand, and of course, at the head of all of this is the release of Pikmin 4. Nintendo takes the time to rightfully celebrate its marketing here. Some of the Pikmin merch gets highlighted, some of the crossovers, for example the Pikmin quizzes that show up in Japanese trains being highlighted, and they celebrate how well the series sold, how well this entry sold. This entry, as of this presentation in October of 2023, sold 2.5 million units, being the biggest global cumulative sell-through in the entire Pikmin series, and the biggest launch in the series across all regions, and at this point in 2025, it has blown past that. They talk about how songs like I Know Uda have contributed to the success of Pikmin, and how Pikmin characters have been nurtured by consumers across generations. It's really neat stuff. So clearly, Pikmin 4 was good enough for Nintendo, sales-wise. The Pikmin series is one of Nintendo's big IP now. Even if it's still growing, Nintendo sees its potential, because Pikmin 4 indeed saved the Pikmin series. This is true both in the eyes of Nintendo themselves and in Nintendo's investors' eyes. So, really, it's just great news. Pikmin 4 did wonderfully, and it's really funny to think about the 10 years between Pikmin 3 and Pikmin 4, where it really didn't seem like we were actually going to get more Pikmin games. The series seemed as dead and on ice as series like Custom Robo or F-Zero, and that was turned around. I remember when Hey Pikmin released, right? And that seemed like the final nail in the coffin for the series, but it wasn't. Pikmin kept on going. Pikmin Bloom boosted up the series, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, the re-release of the short movies onto YouTube, and Pikmin 4. They all were super successful, and they completely transformed the situation of the Pikmin series. I'm wearing unofficial Pikmin socks today, and it's funny to me because looking at them, I can clearly see the growth of the series represented directly. I saw the Pikmin on the socks when I got them a few years ago as the full extended family. The socks included the weird Pikmin types, that being the Bulbmin and the Puffmin, allowing them to have a larger roster than just having all of the 7 Pikmin types that existed at the time. Back when I got them, I thought that these Pikmin were added out of necessity because the roster of types was rather low, and we had less than 10 types across the whole series. Now I look at these socks, and they're just super incomplete, as they're missing so many new additions that the series saw with Pikmin 4. Not just the Glow and Ice Pikmin, but also Ochi, Moss, and all of the Leaflings. It's awesome. Pikmin 4 sprinted to becoming the best-selling entry in the series, outselling the previous best in only a few months. It's the biggest extension of the Pikmin family to date. It's got tons of new merch, new plushies, new Pikmin jars, which we keep getting more of. It had massive growth in the Pikmin community. I mean, leave a comment if you're new because of Pikmin 4 or just joining the series. I want to see how many people literally came in after Pikmin 4, because this game did wonders for people just getting exposed to the series. Like, Pikmin 4 won Game Awards, as many awards as Mario Wonder and Zelda did, and it apparently even sold better than Mario Wonder did on Japan's eShop in a similar time span, so it's kind of wild. Another Nintendo series that had a very similar trajectory, which I like to compare all the time, Fire Emblem, was on the brink, and I mean, you see how many of those games we get. Pikmin is finally one of the big 5 Nintendo IP. They stand with giants. Sure, they're small and plucky, and aren't as successful as Splatoon, Animal Crossing, Mario, or Zelda, but they are number 5 of Nintendo's first-party major IP, and that cannot be understated. Even though the hype has died down now that Pikmin 4 is out, and it seems that this golden age of Pikmin speculation is over, the golden era is not done. With or without Pikmin 4 DLC, or even a new game directly on the horizon, Pikmin is doing better than it ever has. People who have never played the game have picked it up and played it. The community has grown. The games are all together in one place. And we are now looking to a Pikmin 5 somewhere on the horizon. I mean, I'll put it this way. Pikmin 4 has outsold every individual entry in the Metroid and Metroid Prime series, and every individual entry in the entire Xenoblade series. That's insane. Another Fire Emblem comparison, Pikmin 4 has nearly outsold every single game in the Fire Emblem series, and we, again, know how many games that series gets. The only thing it has to beat is Three Houses, and who knows if it will. Three Houses is kind of an anomaly, but still, like, this is incredible news. Even if Pikmin 5 is once again 10 years away, we've already cut several years into that wait, and given the success of Pikmin 4 on Switch, I think it's likely we'll see a Pikmin 5 on Switch 2 way sooner than that. Like, maybe they'll even port over Pikmin 4 with new content, and then we'll get something new. Or hey, maybe they'll do the unthinkable and port Hey Pikmin. Either way, Pikmin is clearly here to stay. But what do you think? Do you think that these numbers don't actually mean anything and Nintendo is disappointed with Pikmin sales? Do you think that this is still a golden era for Pikmin? Do you think Pikmin 5 is on the horizon? Do you think it'll be another 10 years before we see a new game? Or maybe 11 this time? 12? Who knows? When do you think we're going to get another entry? Do you think that Pikmin's in a good place? Let me know what you think in the comments below. That being said, I'll stop rambling and end things here. My name is Vantage Emblem. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more Pikmin stuff. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.